talked about it. I didn't kill the show because it had just come out. But I'm going to kill it for you today. So number one, you're going to write down, be who you're meant to be. Be who you're meant to be. And then in parentheses, your kids will love you for it. Be who you're meant to be. I learned on this, the first scene in Despicable Me 2, Gru, the guy that was a secret agent, he had given away being an evil agent to be a dad. And then one of his kids asked, like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I did this all for you. And she was like, I liked it better when you were a secret agent. There's so many of you in this room that have kids, or maybe you're going to have kids, that you're going to either feel guilty right now or you're going to feel guilty in the future because you're away from your kids because you're working. Your kids will love you for you doing what you're purposed to do. I was never mad at my parents for going to work. The reason why, because most of the time when they go to work, I get to play. If you're a parent and you think, oh, I just need to spend all the time in the world with our kids, we don't want to spend that much time with you. I thought this when I met with my daughter, and I was like, oh, she wants to play with me all the time. I went upstairs and started playing, and I was like, what are we doing? She was like, I'll play with this, and she had like 15 things, and then she was like, you can play with this, Dad. She gave me the one that she didn't want to play with. And then I started playing. She's like, that's not the way you play, Dad. I was like, you need to calm it down. You got 15 of them. Mind your business, you know what I mean? I'm over here playing. If this horse wants to fly, it's going to fly. Be who you're meant to be. Your kids will love you for it. Don't feel guilty. As a woman, you're going to feel guilty. As a man, you'll go through guilt sometimes. I went through it in the last couple days. I've been away from my family for about 5 days. Tomorrow will be my 6th day, and then I'll be home on a flight. There's times where I feel a little bit guilty. But you know what I'm teaching my kids? I'm teaching my kids work ethic. And I'm teaching my kids the fact that if you want something, you will go after it. And if you don't go after it, it means that you truly don't want it. I've had more kids in my life tell me, I'm the next one. And you know how many kids I've spoke to over the last 13 years? Thousands and 10,000. I was saying the 20 and 30 thousands of kids. You know how many kids work for our company? 43. You know how many kids have been through every single thing that I've been through in my company? 2. Yeah, and I've traveled all around the country and all around the world, and I've heard from every single kid in the audience that raises their hand and says, I'm the next one. I'm your next Diana. And then when their going gets tough, you know what they say? I don't know if I want to follow Diana. Next one. Even the worst thing that you ever create someday will be valuable if you choose to see it that way. If you watch Despicable Me, he created some jelly, and it was the nastiest jelly in the world. But at the end of the movie, it was the thing that saved the whole planet. Most of the time, the things that you screw up on are going to be the best things if you will stay on the course. A lot of times we screw up. How many of you guys screwed up in your life? Woo, yeah. The rest of you don't have arms. How many of you guys screwed up in the last couple days? Woo, yeah. How many of you guys screwed up so bad that you didn't even want to look at the person you screwed up without after you did it? You just got started like side looking. How many of you have screwed up and it caused you to be mad at the person that you screwed up on? You just started picking out all the bad things. You know what I mean? Like, I screwed up, I messed up, I did something wrong to you. I'm like, I don't even like pink hair anyway. You know what I mean? I don't even know why she's around. Like, I don't even know I befriended her. I can't trust her if she has pink hair. You know? Even the worst thing that you ever create will someday prove to be valuable if you choose to see it that way. You see, there's 2 ways to think about things in life. I get to or I have to. I get to come to school and have the best education in the whole world and open up opportunities that no one else can have, or I have to go to school and I have to be there for 8 hours, and you know what, when I'm done, I'm clocking out, and I'm trying to get out of there as quickly as possible and go hang with my real friends. Have to, get to. Next one. As long as there is purpose, it's worth it. And if you watch this show, the dude who worked with Gru, I can't remember his name, he was the scientist. And he took a job with somebody else because Gru wasn't able to pay him anymore. Why? Because Gru wasn't doing his purpose. You see, if I stop doing my purpose, I'm not going to be able to pay Diana anymore. Even if I'm doing hair, but I'm not doing what I'm purposed to do, which has helped to revolutionize this industry, I'm going to lose what it is that I have, and I'm not going to be able to keep, but Diana, she's going to have to take another job. But that scientist came back to Gru when he got back into his purpose, even though the money wasn't there. He took the job. There was less paying because there was purpose in it. You have to find the purpose. Next one. What causes you to jump up and down? And this at the end of the movie, it was Despicable Me. It was so great because you remember when Gru found a girlfriend, everything became great. He was walking around smelling flowers, looking at people, oh, hey. And they turned on the music and he was, How many of you ladies ever been like that with a boy? I see it, but you got to understand there's another side to it. See, it happened to me one time. A guy walked in the salon, and when he walked in the salon, I saw his watch. And when I looked down at his watch, I was like, I like that one. I know that watch is the Panerai. It's an Italian military issue. It came out in 1993. They released them, but they used to only be Italian military issue. He was like, wow, you know about watches? I was like, in my head, I was like, I only know about one. But he was like, and then about 4 hours later, he came down, and he was like, hey, man, since you're so into watches, I just wanted to show you all the watches I travel with. And I was like, who the hell travels with more than one watch? Ain't like a pair of pants, you know, I've never heard this before. So he opens up this briefcase, metal briefcase, he starts explaining to me all these watches. And I'm like, oh my God, you travel with all those? Like, depending on what kind of mood he was in, he was showing me one Breitling that was Jerry Seinfeld who wore, and he bought it from him and all the stuff. And then he showed me this one, it was called Ernst Benz. He said, try it on. I tried it on, I had a swatch on at the time. And I pushed the swatch up, and he's like, no, take that off. And I was like, all right, cool. So I take it off and put that one on. He's like, how does it look? And I was like, it looks good. He said, how's it feel? I said, dude, it feels even better. And then he looked at me and he said, it's yours. He had told me there was an $1,800 watch. And he said, it's yours. And I was like, ah! But I didn't want to react too big in the salon because I want to act like, this is just how I roll. You know what I mean? He watches all the time. I don't know how you do it, but the way I do it, just people come up and give me jewelry. So I didn't react much. And then I went to the outside of the salon, chased him out of the salon, and I said, thank you so much. I can't believe it. This is the greatest day. I can't even believe it. This is so amazing. Because you could imagine if someone gave you an $1,800 piece of jewelry, put it on your wrist, and you didn't even know them. How would you feel? You would feel cool, right? So I was like, thank you so much. Can't believe it. Thank you. Can't believe it. You made my day. Actually, you made my life. This is awesome. And he looked at me, and he stopped, and he pulled me close. He looked me in my eye, and he whispered to me, if this was all that it took to make you happy, someone should have given you a watch a long time ago. Ladies, if you're that damn happy, jump in for joy because a boy talked to you, or maybe you just started a relationship with a boy. You need to find that happiness. You need to sit in that happiness every single day. Someone should have gave you a boyfriend a long time ago. Because we all know that person. That they're stinky as hell, and then they come in and you're like, there's something different. I know it's different. In most young ladies' life, it's when that boy comes in. And right at the first 2 weeks, it's, so happy. Oh, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Breathe. Just breathe. And then 5-6 weeks down the line, you're like, please don't breathe because your breath is stank.
That's how it goes.
You're like, oh, I just like to look at you. I just look at you. What causes you to jump up and down? You see, for me, it was that watch, and I had to realize that I had to find that place inside me every single day, and I had to live inside that every single day, whether I got a watch or I didn't. Find that thing inside you that makes you jump for joy, and you know what? Go there mentally. Don't wait for it to come physically. Because if you wait for it to come physically, it never will, and then it'll be fleeting, and it'll go away. But if you can find it mentally, you can find it inside yourself, then you can just live in that. People ask me why I'm so happy all the time. It's not because my circumstances are great. I've got alcohol abuse in my family, I've got drug abuse in my family, I've got physical abuse, I've got sexual abuse, I've got every type of abuse that you can possibly think of. But the way that I choose to think about it is I'm so glad that it happened to me and not someone who it would have killed. Ain't none of us got any problems. My dad lives in South Africa right now. He goes back and forth 28 days on, 28 days off. He told me about, he looked out in the ocean, he saw 8 coconuts. And they were all just in a square. And as he got closer, he looked and they were tied together by twine. And he was like, what is that out there? There's something going on. He had sent me a picture. And he asked me, what do you think that is? And I said, I have no idea. And as he got closer, he started to scratch his head. What is this thing? Well, the coconuts, 8 coconuts in a square tied together by twine, also had twine that was tied together that was going underneath the water and had wood slats on the bottom that were tied together. And my dad looked at it and he was like, what is that? Then he saw a guy with a fishing pole walk out into the water, climb over the top of the coconuts, stand inside, and paddle himself out to go fish to be able to catch fish for his family. That was his boat. You ain't got no problems. You ain't got no problems. You ain't got no problems. I ain't got no problems. I got what's called white girl problems, or first world problems is what I like to call them. I love this, and it was illustrated to me at one point. I looked at, you guys see those memes. You guys do those, right? Yes. Little meme. Well, it was a little meme, and it was a little kid, a little African kid, and then there was a white woman that was sitting below, and he was looking over the top of her shoulder. And the meme said, so you mean to tell me that you got so much clean water that you shit in it? We ain't got no problems. My dad tells me all the time, you ain't got no problems. Come with me to Africa and see if you got problems. I had a problem the other day because I was back and forth on the fact that I was having a challenge because I have a 2-car garage and I was wondering where I was going to put my 3rd car. But it was stressing me. It was stressing. I was like, man, what's going to happen? And my wife was like, are you really thinking that right now? And I was like, man, I'm just perplexed right now. I've never used that word in my life until And when I say this, guys, when I say that you have no problems, what I'm saying is I get in a plane a lot. And when I get in a plane, when you go high in a plane and you look down on buildings, buildings are small. Cars are small. People are small. And the problems are even smaller. It all depends on the perspective that you look at what it is that you're dealing with. When you get outside of yourself, the best way to be able to deal with your problems is take on somebody else's. Because then we see that somebody else would love, would kill for what it is that we live in. There's somebody out there that needs your help. Second one that we go to is Monsters U. If you guys write that one down, I watched that one. That was a great movie. I absolutely loved it. Just because you want it doesn't mean it's your purpose. I've had people tell me all the time, I want to be the next Takashi. Well, just because you want it doesn't mean it's your purpose. If you watched Monsters U, Mike Wazowski wanted to be a scarer. But Sully was the big monster, and he was a scarer. He was really good at it. Mike Wazowski, little dude with one eye, he was like, rah! And everyone was like, ha-ha, cute, bang, 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 bang. And then Sully would be, whoa! And then everyone would jump back. Well, Wazowski wanted to be a scarer, and Sully was just like, hey, this is just who I am. Just because you want it doesn't make it your purpose. And this was a big thing for me because everyone taught me when I was growing up, you can be anything that you want to be. That's absolutely incorrect. You can be anything that you're purposed to be and willing to work for. Anything that you're purposed to be. I learned this in a 4th grade class because I was excited. I was yelling at people. I was all passionate. Thought I had them. At the end, I said, you can be anything you want to be. And I had a kid stand up and he was like, I want to be a rhinoceros. What do you tell a kid at that point? Squash his dreams? So I just smacked him. I believe in beating kids. I love that because sometimes they'll say that and people will be like, yeah! And everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry. I had one woman come up to me afterwards and was like, do you really beat your kids? I was like, no, I just spray them with water. So if you have young children, they cry, just spray them, they'll stop. As they get older, just add a little alcohol into the bottle. Make sure it hit the eyes, it's the best. I don't really do that to my kids. Some of you are going to be like, oh, I don't like him now. Just be nice or else culture isn't working in his mind. Next one, technical ability has nothing to do with your design and purpose. Technical ability has nothing to do with your design and purpose.